So my name is Chris Anderson. I am I'm actually a 31-year veteran in law enforcement. I'm one of the investigators that was featured on the show First 48. So I was born and raised here in Birmingham, man, in Jefferson County. Spent my whole life here. So I'm a second generation law enforcement officer. My mom hired on with the Birmingham Police Department back in the 70s when they weren't hiring black females. You know, it took a lawsuit for black females to really start being hired. I was a little bitty boy. She had 3 kids to feed. And so, God opened the door for her. She walked in and, I love telling this story about my mom because, she didn't go into law enforcement like a lot of folks do. Her story was more simple. She had 3 sons and she needed to feed those 3 sons. Those 3 sons got into a lot of trouble, not trouble as in being arrested, but we always find ourselves getting hurt playing football in the dirt, always outside. So she needed medical insurance. She needed a sustained way of taking care of them 3 boys. So she went into police work. She was willing to put her life on the line, just like most mothers, for her boys to make sure that they were taken care of. And through what she went through, that was the catalyst that put me into law enforcement. So.
And is that something that had to happen for her to get that job, a lawsuit?
Yeah. So back in the 70s, we were just coming off of the civil rights era. And then they had to sue because black females were being denied positions in law enforcement back during that time. So they were mandated, a judge ordered that they hired X amount of females or blacks into law enforcement. That's what happened. That's one of the ugly truths about the city of Birmingham, trying to correct mistakes of the past. So.
What year was that?
My mother hired on in 1976.
Yeah. How obvious was it to you as a child that was going on?
So back then, I was really, really young during that time. I was really young. In the 70s, I want to say my mother hired on with the police department in 76 or 78. I gotta, because I'm thinking I was about 5. So it made it, no, I want to say it was 1978. Yeah. So I was maybe about 5 years old during that time. So I was a really, really young kid. I didn't know. I knew that one day we were playing in the projects of Collegeville, which is where we were raised, and all of a sudden we were able to move out of the projects into our own house, because of the new position that she had gotten. So yeah. So I was real young.
Yeah. So you are a product of Ensley, correct?
Absolutely. Born and raised.
I'm gonna ask this just because it came to me, but is Ensley, from your perspective, as bad as the media try to make it?
I love Ensley. I still love Ensley to this day. I feel comfortable here. I don't think it's as bad. It's just like any place around the country. You have your bad pockets. You have your bad areas, but I still feel comfortable because it's home for me. So no, I wouldn't say it's as bad as the media portrays it, but I still got family here. I was at my mother's house, my mother-in-law's house the other day. She still lives in Ensley, so, and I sat down on the porch and had talked to her and went over there and visited with her neighbors for a little while. And, it's home to me. So I always say that it's never as bad as what people portray it to be. Now, I have seen the ugly sides of it, absolutely. I've worked multiple homicides here in Ensley. Some of those homicides that I worked were friends of mine. So yeah, I've seen the ugly side, but I still know it is home.
Like, what was a case that possibly just never left you? It's
Really?
just, yeah.
Yeah, so I have quite a few of those. Those ones that some of them I solved and that I still don't understand. Some of them I didn't, and would take any opportunity that I could get to go back and work them. One case that I actually talk about a lot is a case of a young lady by the name of Kayla Fanai. Her murder happened. First off, let me just tell you about how amazing she is, or she was, before her demise. And she was a straight A student. She'd never been in any trouble. She's the type of daughter every parent wished they had. You know what I'm saying? She was just an amazing person. She was a student over at UAB, one of the most prestigious schools in the South, and she was doing quite well there. She did everything that she was supposed to do, and she was still murdered. So back in the it was the late 2000s, back when cell phones were just becoming, a thing that everybody had. People would tell you, okay, if you need to use your cell phone while you're driving, you pull over. So Kayla received a phone call from a friend of hers that she had been missing the entire day. So she pulls over into a well-lit area, a school here in Birmingham. It was very well lit, right just outside of her campus. And she begins to talk to her friend. 3 guys decided that they wanted to rob her and carjack her, and ended up shooting and killing her. And didn't get the car, didn't get any money, didn't get anything, but took this young lady's life. So Kayla's case could have been anybody's daughter. Could have been my own daughter. As a matter of fact, I have a daughter by the name of Kayla.
Wow.
Who went to UAB. And, it could have been her. So, I went through a lot going through homicides, working cases, because I always took all my cases personal.
Yeah.
And Kayla's case was no different. So throughout the entire investigation, I developed a really close relationship. I actually talked to her mom today, right before I got here. I talked to her brother all the time. We've become, and that case happened in the late 2000s. But I still keep that contact with my victims, because we developed a almost a close-knit like family.
Yeah.
But her case is one of those cases that I just never could get over, because, and I thank God that I was able to solve the case and bring a little bit of closure to the family. But at the same time, it could have been my daughter. That could have been your daughter. It could have been anybody's daughter that's listening to what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those cases that just kind of just looked at the bad side of life, and
yeah, that's
down a deep hole.
Yeah, man, I commend you for being able to have that type of strength.
Thank you.
That's everybody can't do that.
But you have to find the strength, because you have a family that is looking for you to speak for them. That's the crux of it. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
You have to speak for the family. So you got to put your emotions aside. You have to put all of the feelings aside, and you have to do it for the family.
And do it for the family. Yeah. So, you being from the city, a product of the city, obviously you done seen some of the, people at their most vulnerable, and some real crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How does this play a part in you wanting to be the Jefferson County Sheriff?
It plays a huge role. I take public safety very serious, being in law enforcement is everybody in this world has a mission. God gives all of us a mission. And public safety is my mission. My ministry is serving people. And there's a difference between your mission and your ministry. To me, God gave me the mission of being a law enforcement officer, but my ministry is serving people. And that's the reason why I think he's blessed me in order to be decent at what I've done.
Yeah. I'm thinking. You like what's some of the major problems in the county that stick out to you the most?
So there are a lot of problems that are happening right now, and the what they all build up to is a less safer Jefferson County, and I'm not running because I despise the current, person that's in charge. I don't have anything negative to say about him. I mean, outside of the reason why I'm running, it's because I hadn't seen the change that I voted for. I've not seen the change that I voted for. So when you think of it that way, that's my reason. It's nothing to against him personally, but I know what I voted for, and I know if we want to see change, you got to be the change. So those are my reasons why I'm running for Jefferson County Sheriff. I think we can do better. I think we've deserved better. And I think with the right leadership in place, we will have better.
So what would you say to the people who might feel like we shouldn't be running against each other, because we should probably be working like more close knit? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, that is the downfall of everything that we are working towards. So, I'm of the mindset that competition is good. Having competition is good because it makes, we'll get to it. When you have that mindset of, oh, well, we should just work together and try to do this and do that, you fall into this, it allows people to fall into this sense that, okay, I ain't got to do nothing. I just got to bring somebody else in that can do it. No, that's not where we're going. Not when we're talking about elections and especially public safety. No, we competition is good. Am I going out? See, and the reason why people say that is because we've allowed politics to get so ugly. Instead of us focusing on the issues and what this candidate will do to fix those issues, we make it ugly. We start bashing folks' families and start talking about how the messy side of everything. And what ends up happening is the voters see through all of that. Voters see through that. So I'm not here to bash anyone in this race. I refuse to do it, even though I've heard some of the things that have been said about me. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall into that. I'm going to be the steady Chris Anderson that I've always been in this race.
That's good. You got anything that you want to kind of plug in about what people can do to support you?
Yeah, so most of my campaign is done on social media. That's my strongest asset. I have a decent following of people that are local. So if you follow me on social media, you can see what I'm doing. I am top, but I'm out in the streets every single day. There's not been a day since I announced that I haven't been on the streets or I haven't done something to show people that I am serious about change in Jefferson County. I'm talking to people about what they want to see in their next sheriff. I'm in the streets, and not just Birmingham or not just Bessemer. I'm all over Jefferson County. So if you want to support, go to one of my social media pages. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I post the exact same thing. And I actually have 2 Facebook pages, and I post the exact same thing on all 4 platforms. You'll see what I'm doing. You know the voice, you know who I am. And if you don't, take a little time and get to know who I am, because I'm serious about changing Jefferson County. And we can do it. We are in a very serious campaign right now. And I'm not just talking about Jefferson County. I'm talking about all of the elected positions that are coming up for a vote for re-election or election this series. So we need to take it very serious. We don't need to sit at home, because if you don't feel safer in Jefferson County, then it's time for a change. If you see what's happening in the current administration right now across the nation,
You're good.
if you don't like what's happening all across the United States, this is the election that you need to be voting in.
How many candidates is it?
In the sheriff's race?
Yeah.
In the sheriff's race, there are currently 3 candidates, myself being one.
Okay. So your current position, you are a detective currently today.
No.
You're not?
No, I'm actually a chief of police now.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
So I'm the chief of police at my alma mater, Talladega College. I've been there for 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to go. No, I'm just playing. But and that's the only position you hold. So as far as when you were a detective, was that under Birmingham Police Department?
Yeah, so after I went through the Birmingham Police Department, and I retired as a supervisor there in 2016 after getting promoted, and I found what I thought I found was the job of my dreams. And I'll tell anybody that I thought this was a job of my dream. But little did I know, this was all a setup by God, because God knew, had I been with Birmingham, when I get to doing something very, very well, I don't want to leave. I don't want to stop. I just want to get better at it, So, and that's what happened with me in homicides. Most experts say that you shouldn't do more than 3 or 4 years in homicide division. I did 7 almost. 7 years in homicides. In a place like Birmingham, you've seen a lot of homicides. You've seen a lot of death. That's way too much. So,
so they saying that you shouldn't do that many because of your mental state.
Yeah. So there should be some turnover. You should give other investigators the opportunity to work those cases. And once you've worked homicides, especially in a place like Birmingham, you've reached the pinnacle of your years as an officer. You're not going to get more experience as an officer than being in homicide. So now it's time for you to get promoted, so that you can bring in some fresh blood, new ideas, new strategies, and move on to the next level and train those guys so that the department can continuously run. You understand that?
I got you.
Okay. So once I got promoted, I ended up supervising a team and creating actually a couple of other teams, but I ended up supervising a team called the Crime Reduction Team. And what we were manhunters. We found we were given cases of people that were wanted for the most violent crimes in Birmingham, and we were responsible for finding them. And they didn't want to be found. So it was a lot of hours. It was a lot of time. We did a lot of dangerous stuff. But we were able, throughout my years of being there, I can't even remember how many, but we set records on finding the worst of the worst criminals during that time. So, and it relieved a lot of pressure from the homicide detectives, because when I was in homicide, we were responsible for finding our own people. But when we created the crime reduction team, the crime reduction team was responsible for finding those people. And when I became a supervisor, we got really, really good at what we were doing. They were good before I got there, but we got really, really good at finding people.
Yeah.
You know, and that happened with, there's a lot that came. Okay, so anyway, the only reason I retired was because I got the job that I thought was just a retirement job that I know I could do for the next 10 or 15 years. I thought that I could do it for the next 10 or 15 years. So I ended up putting in my paperwork. I'm still pretty young. I was 42 years old, but I had retirement time with the city of Birmingham. So, okay, I went ahead and retired, put my paperwork in, and a week after I put my a week before my last day, I was actually training my replacement. I get a call from this television show. This is after the first 48 now. I get a call from this television show, and the guy that's on the phone tells me that, hey, we want you to look into some wrongful convictions. We've been looking for you for weeks, so you can interview with our producer, whose name is Rob Rosen. But I see you still working, so we're gonna have to move on to the next person, because he called me at work. And I just told him, I was like, well, I'm retiring. This is my last week here with Birmingham. That's God. And so he's like, look, can we get you on the new, I think I can't even remember what it was called. It wasn't Zoom then, but it was the video call with the producer.
Skype or something.
Yeah, it was Skype or something like that. Yeah. So we get on the Skype call, and they had interviewed, they started off with a list of about 300. They narrowed it down. They interviewed about 50, and then it went down to 2 people. And I was the one. So they selected me as their investigator, and then he told me what the show was about. We want a real homicide investigator looking at cases where people believe their loved one has been wrongfully convicted. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all gonna put that in a 30-minute, an hour-long show. But even if I'm not selected, this is what I told him during the interview, even if I'm not selected, I'm gonna be a fan of the show. Yeah. Because I didn't know how it was gonna be done. Well, after that call, I go back to work in the job, my retirement job. I'm thinking everything is fine. I didn't think I got the position or whatever. Yeah. I go and then about 4 months after that, I find Rob Rosen's phone number. I scribbled it down on a scratch piece of paper, and I think I was cleaning up, or my wife was cleaning up, and she asked me that I need the number. I'm like, well, you know what, let me call them and see if they found somebody, see who they selected. So I called him. He was like, man, look, I'm so glad you called me. We've been scrambling trying to get your phone number because I gave them my cell phone number from the city. Not thinking it was I didn't think it was going to matriculate into anything. But I gave them my city cell phone number, and I had to turn that number back in when I retired from Birmingham. So they didn't have my number. They've been trying to find me then.
Right.
He was like, listen, if you want to do this show, and this is on a Monday, I need you to let me know by tomorrow, because by Wednesday I want you to fly out to California and sit down and meet your partner. I prayed about it with my wife, prayed about it to God. I said, God, if this is what you want for me, open the doors, let me walk in, close the doors that I'm not supposed to walk in. So I went and talked to my boss that next day, told him about the opportunity, and he had me call 3 or 4 different people, and all of them gave it okay. Take a leave of absence at a job that I had only been working for about 90 days to go and film this show that,
so
could be something.
So you currently working on it?
Currently, no. So we did that show from 2016 to 2022.
What was the name of the show?
Reasonable Doubt.
Oh.
Reasonable Doubt on Investigation Discovery, the ID channel.
Say it one more time, sorry.
Reasonable Doubt.
Okay.
The name of the show was called Reasonable Doubt. It was on Investigation Discovery, the ID channel. And it was something completely different than what normal investigative shows were doing. It was way outside of the box. We looking into cases where people think that their loved one is wrongfully convicted. And if they have been wrongfully convicted, we get them some help. We advocate for them. And if they have been, if it was a correct conviction, we tell the family members, hey, you may not need to fight so hard for this because he actually is responsible for what happened. We were able to prove a bunch of those cases were not wrongful convictions. But out of the 50 cases that we did, 7 of the cases that we advocated for and got help for, they're out of prison now.
Like, has it ever been an arrest you made that you just regretted or felt bad for?
No.
Like
Never.
You that good, it don't matter.
No.
Like if they go behind it, they supposed to be there.
So the reason why I say that is because I'm very meticulous when it comes to putting somebody in prison. Very meticulous when it comes to taking someone's freedom. If I didn't have enough, or if I thought that there was a possibility that this may not be the person, then I wouldn't even put them in jail. Because you have to be very, very serious about taking someone's freedom potentially for the rest of their lives. So no, there was never a case that I regretted. And all of my cases that I've taken to court, that I've gone through the trial process with, they all ended up in convictions. Because I'm very meticulous when it comes to working, especially homicide cases.
That's what's up. And that's actually a breath of fresh air, to be honest. Because some folks they just want them numbers.
Yeah, and I had I not gone through Reasonable Doubt and saw some of the cases like that, I would argue you down. I would. There are not. And I'm not going to say that I'm the only, I know I'm not the only investigator that works the way that I work, because I was trained by someone who's just as meticulous as I am. The reason why I am the way that I am was because I saw him be the way that he is. So there are a lot of other investigators that work cases like that, but I have seen the ugly side of investigations, where the work was not as meticulous, or they were not as thorough as they needed to be. And it caused someone to lose their freedom.
And then I know that could be a little bit even more tough than what we're describing, because Alabama is a death penalty state, right?
It is.
So that could be a little bit more serious than just taking your freedom.
It could be way more serious. You're taking somebody's life.
I might need to move back home, man. I'll just
see, that's the wrong mindset that we should have.
Yeah.
If you have any love for the place that you're at, you got to make the change right there, right now. That's part of the reason why I'm running for Jefferson County Sheriff. We can't sit back and expect for anybody else to be the change that we want to see. You got to be the change that we want to see.
You got to do it.